Welcome to this demonstration of the Sendai Framework Monitor Analytics module. To arrive at this module, go to sendaimonitor.undrr.org to reach this landing page, where you can see a snapshot of the implementation of the Sendai framework, but also the cumulative data that we have across the different areas and different targets of the Sendai framework. To access further information under each one of those targets, click on the target or click on Global to access the relevant information. This is the landing page for the global indicators and targets, where you can see the different Sendai Framework Monitor targets clustered up top, and further information on the indicators below under this link. You can, if you choose to, identify these readings in terms of the different groupings of countries like LDCs, SIDS, etc. And then you will see in this donor chart the number of countries which have reported under this relevant target. For instance, 90 countries have reported data under target A, with another 58 countries reporting disaggregated data under this target, disaggregated by sex or other criteria. To have further information on the different indicators, click on the indicator of reference or interest to see how many countries reported under this indicator and how many reported with disaggregation. Here, you will see the change decade over decade in terms of decade average for these different indicators. And below, you will find a chart with the annual information that was made available through the countries which have reported data for the respective years. Similarly, if you want to see the other progress under the other targets and indicators, click on the target of interest to see the menu of indicators, and then click on the indicator of interest. For instance, under indicator D3, we have 78 countries which provided data and on the number of destroyed or damaged educational facilities attributable to disasters. The data that we have highlights that there were 48,000 units which were damaged or destroyed, and below you can find the annual data year on year from the reporting countries. Similar fashion, you can click for another example on target E on the strategy, where you can find the number of countries which have reported adopting and implementing national disaster risk reduction strategies. Here you have the number of countries reporting, but also here you have the 10-point criteria against which countries rank and score their respective strategies. For instance, the extent to which the strategies addressed priority 1 on understanding disaster risk. 123 countries reported a score under this element with an average score of 0.84. To access information on a country-specific implementation of the Sendai framework, click on the Country tab and then look at the drop-down menu here to identify a country of interest in the different areas. And here, similarly, you can do a scoring, identify the data from different areas. For instance, for this one example from Fiji, we do have data through looking at this dot plot in terms of which year do we have data that was reported by Fiji on the Sendai Framework Monitor. And we can see here 2 years which have a diamond shape. This diamond shape indicates that Fiji reported disaggregated data for those 2 years. In a similar fashion, you can click on an indicator of interest to see the data that's being made available, decade-on-decade changes, but also disaggregated data as reported by Fiji. In a similar fashion, you can go and click on any of the other targets to have an idea of their scoring. And in this case, for instance, this is Fiji's self-reported scoring under the target G on early warning systems, and the different indicators under this target as reported, as well as the overall scoring on average from the 2015 all the way to the latest available year, based on the data that the country has reported. And you're free to look at the different countries and see how the dynamics change. Of note, here we also have information in terms of the focal point, but also how many entities report on SFM from that particular country. And we encourage countries to ensure that also they do have diversified countries reporting under the different areas. For instance, looking at national statistical offices and other key interlocutors who are reporting under the relevant areas and implementing different components of national disaster risk reduction work. Finally, this is the resources page where you'll be able to access further information on the Sendai Framework Monitor and also the training and learning resources as appropriate. Thank you for your attention.